A wealthy teenager's arrogance reaches new heights when he cuts in front of a family who waited 90 minutes for their dream ride. What happens next will restore your faith in justice. Security arrives, the park owner appears, and a shocking truth emerges that no one saw coming. This is a story about respect, consequences, and the moment everything falls apart for someone who thought they were untouchable. Chapter 1. The Dream Day. The Miller family stood at the gates of Megaworld Theme Park as morning sunlight painted the entrance in shades of gold. Emma clutched her father's hand, her eyes wide with wonder at the towering castle before them. 8-year-old Jake bounced on his toes, unable to contain his excitement. For Robert and Susan Miller, this moment represented something far deeper than a simple vacation. They'd saved for 14 months. Every overtime shift Robert worked at the warehouse, every coupon Susan clipped, every dinner at home instead of restaurants, all of it led to this single day. "Is it everything you imagined?" Susan asked Emma, brushing her daughter's hair from her face. Emma nodded, speechless. Her 10-year-old mind couldn't quite process that the park from her dreams now stood real and magnificent before her. The Millers weren't wealthy. Robert managed inventory at a distribution center. Susan worked part-time at the local library. They lived paycheck to paycheck in a modest rental house. But they'd promised their children this experience, and they'd kept that promise. As they passed through the turnstiles, the smell of fresh popcorn and sugar filled the air. Music echoed from hidden speakers. Families laughed. Children screamed with delight on distant roller coasters. The magic of the place wrapped around them like a warm blanket. "Dragon's Fury first?" Robert asked, consulting the park map. Jake's face lit up. The Dragon's Fury was legendary, a roller coaster that twisted through fire effects and animatronic dragons. Every kid who'd ever visited Megaworld talked about it for years. The family headed toward Adventure Kingdom, where the Dragon's Fury dominated the skyline. They had no idea their perfect day was about to be tested. Chapter 2. The 90-minute wait. The line for Dragon's Fury stretched endlessly, winding through themed queue areas designed to look like medieval dungeons. The Millers joined the back at 9:45 in the morning. "The board says 90 minutes, Robert said, trying to sound optimistic. Emma looked worried. "That's so long?" "But it'll be worth it," Susan assured her, squeezing her shoulder. "We brought snacks. We'll play games. Time will fly." And for a while, it almost did. They played I Spy. They counted red shirts. They made up stories about the carved dragons on the walls. Other families around them did the same, everyone united in patient anticipation. By 11 o'clock, they'd advanced significantly. The entrance to the actual ride was visible now, just ahead. Emma and Jake could barely contain themselves. They'd waited so patiently, so hopefully. Robert checked his watch. 15 minutes, maybe 20, and they'd be on the ride. The sacrifice would be worth it. The wait would become a funny memory. This was what good parents did. They endured. They persevered. They delivered joy to their children. Around them, other families showed similar signs of exhausted excitement. Parents with sore feet, teenagers scrolling their phones, young children starting to get restless but hanging on. Everyone had invested time. Everyone had earned this. The loudspeakers crackled with park announcements. Somewhere in the distance, another roller coaster roared. The mechanical dragon at the ride entrance moved its head, breathing theatrical smoke. Emma smiled at her mother. "This is the best day ever." Susan's heart swelled. This was why they'd sacrificed. This moment, right here. Then everything changed. Chapter 3. Tyler Blackwood arrives. He appeared like a storm, disrupting the careful patience everyone had maintained. Tyler Blackwood was 14, though he carried himself with the aggressive confidence of someone much older. His designer sneakers probably cost more than the Millers' monthly rent. His jacket bore a logo most people would recognize from celebrity Instagram posts. His hair was styled with expensive product. His smartwatch gleamed on his wrist. Behind him walked a young man in his 20s, carrying Tyler's phone and a bottle of premium water. This was Chase, Tyler's personal assistant, or so Tyler called him. Tyler didn't join the back of the line. He didn't even acknowledge there was a line. He simply walked straight through the middle of it, pushing past people who'd waited for over an hour. "Excuse me," a father said as Tyler shoved past him. Tyler didn't respond. He kept moving forward with Chase following awkwardly behind. The Millers watched in disbelief as Tyler approached. He was heading directly toward them, toward the front of the line they'd worked so hard to reach. "Excuse me, young man," Robert said politely as Tyler tried to squeeze past. "The line starts back there." Tyler stopped. He looked at Robert with an expression of such pure disdain that it seemed rehearsed. "Move," Tyler said simply. Emma pressed closer to her mother. Jake's excitement had evaporated, replaced by confusion. "Son, everyone here has been waiting," Robert continued, keeping his voice level. "You need to go to the back." "Do you know who I am?" Tyler interrupted, his voice loud enough that people around them stopped their conversations. "My father is Richard Blackwood. He owns half the commercial real estate in this state. He has investments in 3 countries. He's friends with senators." Tyler pulled out his phone and started recording. "I'm documenting this for my followers," he announced to Robert. "Poor person tries to prevent successful person from accessing public accommodation. This'll get millions of views." Susan felt her face flush with embarrassment. Around them, other park visitors were watching now. Some looked angry. Others looked uncomfortable. No one quite knew what to do. "This isn't about money," Robert said quietly, his jaw tight. "It's about respect." "Respect?" Tyler laughed, a cruel sound. "You think you deserve respect? You're standing in line at a theme park like a regular person? I don't wait in lines. People like me don't wait." Chase, the assistant, looked deeply uncomfortable but said nothing. Emma began to cry softly. Jake held his father's hand tighter. The ride operator, a college-age kid named Danny, approached nervously. "Sir, I need you to go to the back of the line or I'll have to call security." "Call them," Tyler said, his voice dripping with confidence. "Please do. My father knows James Harrison personally. You know, the owner of this entire park. They golf together. Call security. I'll have you fired before lunch." Danny hesitated, clearly out of his depth. Other people in line began murmuring. Someone pulled out their phone to record. The situation was escalating, and everyone could feel it. Tyler pushed past Robert, actually making contact with Emma's shoulder as he did. She stumbled slightly. That was it. Robert had been patient, respectful, willing to let authorities handle it, but seeing his daughter pushed was too much. "That's enough," Robert said, his voice harder now. "Security needs to be called, now." Tyler turned, his face twisted in theatrical anger. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life, poor man. You have no idea what you've done." Danny grabbed his radio with shaking hands. "Security to Dragon's Fury entrance. We have a situation." Tyler smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "Perfect," he said. "Now everyone will see what happens when nobody's tried to challenge people who actually matter." The crowd waited. The tension was suffocating, and then security arrived. Chapter 4. Marcus Appears. Marcus Webb had been head of security at MegaWorld for 12 years. He'd seen everything. Lost children, medical emergencies, fights, theft attempts, and every variety of entitled behavior imaginable. He was a large man, 6'4", with broad shoulders and a presence that commanded immediate attention. But his eyes were kind, and his voice, when he spoke, carried the calm authority of someone who never needed to raise it. He arrived at the Dragon's Fury entrance with 2 junior security officers. "What seems to be the problem?" Marcus asked, his gaze sweeping the scene professionally. Danny, the ride operator, started to explain, but Tyler cut him off. "The problem," Tyler announced loudly, "is that your employee and this random family are harassing me. I came to enjoy the park that my father's friend owns, and I'm being discriminated against." Marcus turned his attention to Tyler. His expression remained neutral. "And you are?" "Tyler Blackwood." He said it like announcing royalty. "My father is Richard Blackwood. He's personal friends with James Harrison, who owns this park. Perhaps you've heard of him? He's kind of your boss." "I'm aware of who owns the park," Marcus said evenly. "Can I see your identification, please?" Tyler pulled out his wallet, extracting a license with obvious pride. "Here. Now, I'd like these people removed for harassment, and I'd like a formal apology from your staff." Marcus examined the ID carefully. Something shifted in his expression, just a flicker, barely noticeable. He looked at Tyler, then at the ID, then back at Tyler. "Stay right here," Marcus said, his tone impossible to read. He stepped away, pulling out his radio. The crowd watched, everyone straining to hear. Code special at Dragon's Fury, Marcus said into the radio, his voice quiet but clear enough for those nearby to catch. I need Mr. Harrison here immediately. Tyler's face broke into a triumphant grin. Did you hear that? He called out to the crowd. They're getting the owner, Mr. Harrison, my father's friend. He looked directly at Robert. You're about to be banned from this park permanently, maybe arrested. We'll see. Susan held Emma close. Robert's fists clenched at his sides, but he remained silent. What could he do? If Tyler really did have connections? Jake whispered, Dad, are we in trouble? No, son, Robert said, though his voice lacked certainty. We didn't do anything wrong? The wait felt eternal. 3 minutes. 5 minutes. 7 minutes. Then, through the crowd, a man in an impeccable navy suit appeared. He was in his late 50s, gray hair perfectly styled, moving with the confidence of someone who'd built an empire from nothing. James Harrison, owner and CEO of Mega World Theme Parks. Tyler's smile grew wider. This was it. His moment of victory. Mr. Harrison approached Marcus, who spoke to him quietly, showing him something on a tablet one of the junior officers had retrieved. Tyler stepped forward. Mr. Harrison, thank goodness you're here. These people have been... James Harrison turned to look at Tyler. His expression was ice. I'm sorry, Harrison said, his voice polite but cold. Do I know you? The words hung in the air like a bomb that hadn't yet exploded. Tyler blinked. I'm Tyler Blackwood. My father is Richard Blackwood. You and he are friends. You golf together. Harrison's eyebrows rose slightly. Richard Blackwood? I'm afraid I don't know anyone by that name. The color began to drain from Tyler's face. But you must, Tyler insisted, his confidence starting to crack. He told me you were friends. He said he invested... Young man, Harrison interrupted gently. I've never met your father. I've never golfed with him. I don't know him. The crowd went completely silent. Marcus stepped forward, holding up his tablet. Mr. Harrison, I pulled up our system. This young man has 5 previous complaints filed against him at theme parks across 3 states. Different parks, same behavior pattern. Harrison examined the tablet, his jaw tightening. 5 complaints? He repeated. Marcus nodded. Crystal Gardens in California, Adventure Bay in Florida, Wonderland in Texas, Mountain Heights in Colorado, and Ocean World in Oregon. Same MO every time. Claims to have connections to management, creates disturbances, makes threats. Tyler's face had gone from confident to pale to red. Those are mistakes. Those were misunderstandings. There's more, Marcus continued. I made a few calls while waiting for you, sir. Tyler here has been posting on social media about these incidents. He brags about scamming his way through theme parks. He actually has a hashtag, too rich to wait. Harrison's expression darkened. He turned to Chase, Tyler's assistant, who looked like he wanted to disappear into the ground. And you are? Harrison asked. Chase Morrison, he mumbled. I was Tyler's friend from school. He paid me $50 to come with him and pretend to be his assistant, to make him look important. Tyler spun toward Chase. Shut up. You're fired. You can't fire me, Chase said, finding his spine. This was always just for today. I'm done, man. This is messed up. Chase walked away, leaving Tyler standing alone. Chapter 5. The Truth Exposed. James Harrison took a step closer to Tyler. His voice remained calm, but there was steel beneath it. Let me make sure I understand this correctly, Harrison said. You've been traveling to theme parks across the country, pretending to have connections you don't have, cutting lines, harassing guests, and posting about it on social media as if it's something to be proud of. Tyler tried to salvage the situation. I was just having fun. It's not a big deal. Tyler tried to salvage the situation. I was just having fun. It's not a big deal. It's a very big deal. Harrison cut him off. You pushed a child. You threatened my employees. You made my guests feel unsafe and disrespected in a place that's supposed to bring joy. Robert spoke up, his voice steady now. Sir, we don't want any trouble. We just want to enjoy the day with our kids. Harrison turned to the Miller family, his expression softening. I am profoundly sorry for what you've experienced today. This is not what Mega World stands for. Not at all. He looked back at Tyler. You're banned. Permanently. From this park and all Mega World properties worldwide. If you attempt to enter any of our parks again, you'll be arrested for trespassing. Tyler's eyes went wide. "You can't." "I can, and I am," Harrison said firmly. "Marcus, please escort this young man to the front gate. Contact his parents. I'd like a word with them before he leaves." Marcus nodded. "With pleasure, sir." As Marcus led Tyler away, the teenager's bravado completely collapsed. He looked small now, young, scared. The crowd parted to let them through, silent witnesses to consequences finally arriving. Harrison turned to the Miller family. "Please, come with me for a moment." Chapter 6. Justice and Grace. James Harrison led the Millers to a quiet area near the ride exit. Emma was still wiping tears from her cheeks. Jake held his mother's hand tightly. "I cannot apologize enough for what you experienced," Harrison said, and his sincerity was evident. "That young man violated everything we stand for here." "We appreciate that," Robert said. "But honestly, we just want to move past it and enjoy our day." Harrison smiled. "I understand, but please allow me to do something." He pulled 4 VIP passes from his jacket pocket. "These will give you front-of-line access to every attraction in the park. No more waiting. And dinner tonight at the Castle Restaurant is on me. It's the least I can do." Susan's eyes widened. "Mr. Harrison, that's too much." "It's not nearly enough," he insisted. "You handled this situation with grace and dignity. You taught your children an important lesson today about standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable." Emma looked up at her father with pride. Harrison knelt down to be at eye level with the children. "You two showed incredible patience today. That's a rare quality, especially in kids your age. I hope you'll still have a magical day here." Jake nodded solemnly. Emma managed a small smile. Harrison stood, shaking Robert's hand. "Enjoy your day. You've earned it." As they walked back to the Dragon's Fury entrance, now able to bypass the line entirely, Susan squeezed Robert's arm. "You were right to stand up to him." "Sometimes," Robert said, "the hardest thing is believing that doing the right thing will matter, but it does. It always does eventually." They rode the Dragon's Fury 3 times in a row, laughing and screaming together. The earlier tension melted away, replaced by the joy they'd come for. Chapter 7. The Call Home. At the front gate, Marcus Webb waited with Tyler while security called his parents. Tyler sat on a bench, staring at the ground, his phone clutched in his hands. "My dad's going to kill me," he muttered. Marcus sat down next to him, not close but not distant. "Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. But I'm curious about something. Why did you do this?" Tyler was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know. People always respect you when they think you're important. When they think you have money or connections. I wanted to feel that." "But you made it all up," Marcus said gently. "So it wasn't real respect? It was fear. There's a difference." "I know that now," Tyler said, and for the first time, he sounded like the 14-year-old he actually was. Young, confused, scared. "Real respect comes from how you treat people," Marcus continued. "Not from what you claim to have or who you pretend to know. That family you terrorized today, they showed more class and dignity in 15 minutes than I've seen from some people in years." Tyler nodded slowly. A car pulled up, a modest sedan, not the luxury vehicle he might have hoped for. His mother got out. She looked tired, worried, and deeply disappointed. "Tyler," she said quietly. He stood, shoulders slumped. "I'm sorry, Mom." "We'll talk in the car," she said, then turned to Marcus. "Thank you for calling me, and I apologize for my son's behavior." Marcus nodded respectfully. He's young. He can learn from this. As Tyler walked toward the car, Marcus called out one more thing. "Tyler." The teenager turned. "You're not banned from growing up to be a good person," Marcus said. "Just from this park. Choose wisely." Tyler got in the car. Through the window, he looked back at the park entrance one last time before they drove away. Chapter 8. Sunset and Lessons Learned. As the sun began to set over Mega World, the Miller family sat on a bench near the castle, exhausted but happy. Emma was wearing a dragon plush they'd bought at a gift shop. Jake had chocolate ice cream on his face. Robert and Susan were holding hands, watching their children laugh about the day's adventures. "Dad," Emma said thoughtfully, "why did that boy lie about everything?" Robert considered his answer carefully. "Sometimes people think being important is more valuable than being kind. They don't understand that kindness is what actually makes you important." "But he got caught," Jake pointed out. "He did," Susan agreed. And that's what happens when you build your life on lies. Eventually, the truth comes out. Emma looked at her dragon plush. I'm glad we're not rich like he pretended to be. Why's that, sweetie? Robert asked. Because we had to wait in line, Emma said simply. And while we were waiting, we played games and told stories and had fun together. He missed all that because he wanted to skip ahead. Robert and Susan exchanged a look. Their daughter was wiser than they sometimes realized. You're absolutely right, Susan said, pulling Emma close. The best parts of life aren't the destination, they're the journey. As they walked toward the exit at closing time, tired but fulfilled, Robert reflected on the day. They'd come for a dream vacation and got so much more. They'd taught their children about integrity, about standing up for yourself, about the value of patience, and the importance of treating others with respect. Behind them, the castle lights twinkled against the darkening sky. Tomorrow, thousands of other families would come seeking magic. Some would face challenges, some would face disappointment. But today, the Millers had shown that sometimes the greatest magic isn't in the rides or the shows. It's in the character we show when tested. Tyler Blackwood would have other chances to learn this lesson. Whether he would take them remained to be seen. But the Millers already knew the truth that Tyler was just beginning to discover. Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn. And no amount of money, real or imagined, can buy the kind of dignity that comes from simply being kind. As they drove home that night, Emma fell asleep clutching her dragon, a smile on her face. Jake hummed the theme park music from memory. Robert and Susan were already planning their next family adventure, knowing that whatever they could afford would be enough. Because they had what truly mattered, not VIP passes or connections or expensive clothes. They had each other. They had values. They had love. And in the end, those were the things that made them genuinely rich. Remember, true wealth isn't measured in money or connections. It's measured in character. Treat others with respect, not because of what they can do for you, but because it's the right thing to do. Consequences may not always come immediately, but they always come eventually. Choose kindness. Choose integrity. Choose to be someone who builds others up rather than someone who tears them down. That's the lesson Tyler learned the hard way, and the lesson the Miller family already knew by heart.